really. All right, it says we're live, and I don't see anybody in
I don't
here
see
yet.
anybody.
Well, it wasn't promoted till 5 minutes ago, so we'll give it a minute.
Yeah.
That's the value in promoting it a week
Yep.
ahead of time, I guess. But
And I got to get better at making a quick short about it, like just putting it out there on Q Aquatics.
well, that would be awesome. All right, a couple of people are starting to come in, so that's good. I guess that we could go ahead and talk about, do like our intro, and I'll do that, I guess.
Yep.
We're a group of cold-blooded fish keepers, and we also all have reptiles, and that fluctuates. Sometimes we have more reptiles, and sometimes we have more fish, and we go back and forth between the two, but our channels are primarily fish channels, and we like to show off our reptiles and talk about reptiles, and that's a second
June,
interest.
hi. Fish streams, hi.
So here we are, and there are the four of us, and our hub is our YouTube channel, which is Reptales, and that's where you can see all of our past streams and what's coming up next.
Tennessee Fish Keeper, hello.
Hey, Tennessee Fish Keeper, Fish Streams, June. So tonight, I asked for a topic, but and if you have a topic for us, we're glad to talk about it. But we're going to talk some about brumation, and since that's something that's going on now with a lot of reptiles, and lots of different ways to discuss that. So I'm going to ask Susie if she will tell us what brumation is.
Well, as I understand it, it's not quite hibernation, but it's something our animals go through. Some of our reptiles, and I'll talk about which ones are mine. And it's not necessarily species; it's individual reptiles. What they're used to. They kind of go into a slow-mo. Their heart goes down. They don't eat as much. They don't drink. They sleep a lot. Like my tortoises
BJ.
sleep a lot, but still go drink water and come back. But other ones I haven't seen for 6 weeks.
Oh, that's what you call what you do when you get old.
Exactly.
That's it, yes.
Well,
That's why I was wondering what I was going through, and now I have a name for it, brumation.
or it's like when it snows outside and your friends don't see you for 3 months, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're still there.
Exactly.
But out of my bearded dragons, 3 of my bearded dragons are in brumation. The other ones are not. And I don't know if it's because they're not used to it. They're just not. They're out and about every day. Out. The other ones are sound asleep. Haven't even come out. I keep every week or so, I remove the dried greens and put in fresh ones, but they're not waking up yet. And most of any worms that were in there have now turned into beetles. So there's always the cherry head, which I didn't see last year go into brumation, is in brumation, but the 2 babies are not. Go ahead.
Is that age related? I've heard that it's age related. What they usually don't brumate their first winter is what I've read, not heard. But
I thought it would have to do with. It depends on if the first year they're kept outside. Like if they're living out in nature, they're gonna brumate because it's gonna be cold, right?
Right.
Cold, and they got to dig down. Like my box turtles are dug down real deep, real far in. I won't see them until. Unfortunately, it just got about 60 degrees for a couple of days, and now it's going back to freezing again. So a lot of weird things are happening in my yard, especially with my Wilbur, my red ear slider out front. He came to the surface, and normally he stays on the bottom of the pond until it's over. I've seen a couple frogs out. Normally, the frogs are fall, so
Come here.
it's very interesting. The ones outside that are experiencing the warmth versus the ones inside must have something to do with the barometric pressure, because even though it's the same degrees inside, they're sleeping. They're not out. They're not interacting. They're not eating, drinking, anything. So, I used to think it was all hibernation, but there is a difference between hibernation and brumation.
Same. I always thought it was hibernation too. But this is only like my fourth or fifth winter, at the most fifth. winter of having any reptiles, and the one I've had the most experience with was my Nelson, the Indonesian blue-tongued skink. And the first year I had him, he did not brumate at all. He slowed down, but I kept him near a window near some sun, and he got some direct sun for a couple hours each day. I don't know if that made a difference, but he'd gotten quite large, and he brumated the last 2 winters, and I knew what he was doing, so I just didn't worry about it. But he would wake up periodically, and he would act hungry, and he would take some food, but then he would sleep another month or 2 weeks or whatever. Right. And this year he started the same thing, and he woke up twice in like a week and then in 2 weeks, and he ate a little bit each time. I've read you don't feed them much, if anything at all, right? Because their metabolism's so slow then. But the third time I kept thinking, are you going to wake up? Are you going to wake up? And it had been about a month, and I smelled something, and so it was him. So I don't know. I was just sick about it. It was like a throat punch. Yeah. So, but there's all different thoughts about it and experiences about it. It's like a lot of things, you know, with fish and reptiles. You know, everybody has some different experiences with it, and some people say that if a pet's been raised, you know, not caught from the wild. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say, but anyway, if they were born with a hobbyist, that they don't normally brumate because they don't know what winter is, and so I don't know. But my corn snakes are eating like pigs and growing like pigs, and so but this is got to be all of their first winter, you know.
Well, I got scared with my Russian tortoises this year because when winter first hit, I don't even think the winter solstice happened yet, and we were in single digits for over a solid week. So I got scared. I dug them up and brought them inside. So I don't know if I threw them way out of whack or not. They probably would have been fine, but I got scared. I don't ever create the brumation atmosphere in the basement. I just don't. So I know a lot of people do that. They turn the temperature down. They put them in like these boxes. I don't do that. I don't know. I feel like I'm not experienced enough or know enough about it to do that and be responsible for that.
Right. Well, there's supposed to be some benefits to brumation.
That's right.
Such as they're healthier and live longer, and so what I remember.
And they come out ready to breathe, that's for sure.
Right.
So I was hoping Bagel would brumate. That's my male bearded dragon that I really want to breed. And the 2 females right now are sound asleep under their hide. I haven't seen them in like 3 weeks.
Huh.
So hopefully they'll come out ready. He'll be ready, even though he's not brumating when it's time. And I'll try him again. I'll put them individually in a neutral container, let them, you know, try, and then I'll move him over the next couple days and see what happens. Because he's just a beautiful, beautiful leatherback hypo bearded dragon, and he is gorgeous.
Yeah, and another thing I guess it's important to mention is that not all of the reptiles normally brumate anyway.
Right. The ones that it's like instinctually for their survival.
Yep.
Like the koi and the red-eared sliders that are in the bottom of the frozen pond. If they didn't know how to slow their heart rate down, they would die. But that's why I stopped feeding my koi. I stopped feeding the turtle. Like it changes diet to more of a starchy, then I feed them nothing. Because if they woke up like just now and I fed them, I don't think their digestive system is up to par to digest the food. So that could do more harm than good. It could actually kill them.
Yeah. And of course that emulates nature. If they were in a pond in the wild and, you know, all they had to eat were the bugs and stuff from warm weather, you know, so it's pretty cool.
It is. It's cool, but it's kind of sad when you're used to all this activity and it does kind of make you leery, especially if you've lost a pet. Like, is it because I didn't feed him? Is it because they should have had this? I just don't know. There's nothing I could do different, just like you, to know for sure. But,
yeah, only Oscar's saying it could kill them if they had, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Right. Right. Now she had some turtles, she said, that were brumating all the time. And then she moved, it just threw off their whole internal clock.
Hmm.
So it might have to do with, like, if I move from up here down to Tennessee, say, that might change. I might not even bring them inside. Like the Russian tortoises would probably stay outside all year, as long as I knew they could dig down 18 inches, which is the enclosure that I created for them. I went down 18 inches and then put the chicken wire down and up like a cage, then filled it back in with all the dirt, and then the rest of their enclosure so that they could dig far down, but foxes could not dig down and get in, and they could not dig down and get out. But they had plenty of spots to dig down and stay insulated.
She said she moved 136 miles.
Wow, okay. That's not very far, but it was enough to throw them off, huh?
Could have put them in a different weather zone. I don't know. I guess turtles in this area in southeast Tennessee probably brumate, because I definitely don't see them during the winter. No, not even if it's not a cold winter.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see them.
Did you see Tennessee Fish Keeper? That's funny that you say that, because a lot of people, even new reptile people, and like when I got filthy, I was afraid of being bitten, and it hasn't happened. Not like where a biting would be an incident.
Yeah, well, you just kind of have to. It happens. I've been bitten twice, and both times were my fault, and it was just by a little snake. Both of them were small ball pythons, and it was no big deal at all. Getting stuck by a needle is a lot worse than those two bites were. But yeah, it's something to think about. You don't want to get bit by the wrong thing, for sure. Mike, what about you? You got anything that brumates?
I don't. Main thing I thought brumation's been brought up now, but it was for breeding.
None of your snakes will brumate, will they? Because no. And I guess I've got this little California king snake, but it's a baby. I don't think it'll brumate either. As a collier breed, it won't. And it's California king snake too. So
I've got my 2 ball pythons, but I think it's probably going to be another year before they're up to weight and stuff. So all my other snakes are babies.
Well, now, do they brumate, ball pythons? Being from a tropical? I don't know.
I haven't really researched it much.
Speaking of, my skink, who was sleeping for 3 weeks, is now climbing the walls, which is unlikely. So I just made sure he had fresh water and food, and he attacked the food like I was like, there you go, buddy. So
all you had to do is talk about waking up ready for mating.
Yeah. And I didn't think he was going to brumate because that's the baby. But unless he was just very sensitive to a new area and wanted to hide for a long time, and I mistook it for brumation.
Yeah. Pam, do your turtles brumate, or does it not get cool enough?
They slow down, and yeah, kind of. I don't like. Generally, they'll move around a little bit, but they definitely do slow down and don't eat much and stuff when it gets cold.
Now, they can't dig down, though, can they? Or can they in their enclosure?
Not very far, but they just kind of sit on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I've thought about getting some turtles, but I'm not sure what I would get. And turtles as opposed to, or tortoises, I guess, as opposed to like a water turtle. Repticon's tomorrow in Atlanta, and we're going.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see. Pam, I'll be on the lookout for that stuff I keep watching for.
Oh, yeah.
For your snake. Yeah.
What?
Just she's going to be getting. Has a snake. George has 4 aqua balls, and but it's way too cold to ship.
Right.
And she's
And
got
I gotta get stuff to set it up anyway. I'm gonna put it in a 40 breeder, but I need to get a top and lights and
Spring.
heater and all that stuff.
What kind of snake are you getting?
It's a ball python.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be the only one without a snake. God.
you don't have a snake.
Man.
Maybe one Christmas he'll give in. You don't know, or your birthday.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. No, I'm not. That's all right. That's right. I got my hands full.
Yeah, but you could always manage one little snake. It's so easy.
Especially a hog nose. Come on.
Yep. Some of them act like they're not really. I don't know if they're just squirpy or if they're just not real smart. Or you see them biting their owners and biting on toys, and they like to chew and bite for some reason.
What, hog nose?
Yeah. How about yours, Mike? Does it like to chew on? Does it bite you or chew on stuff?
Is Mike on a delay?
I don't know. Can you hear me, Mike?
What was that, Bob?
Oh, does your hog nose? Does it bite stuff? Does it bite you and chew on stuff? And
No, I haven't seen it. Any.
huh?
He comes out about 3 or 4 times a day and just kind of crawls around.
Huh?
Oh, Tennessee fish keepers. They've got a rabbit farm. Yeah, my rabbit definitely is not brumating. Whew. You put on her winter coat and she is out and about no matter what temperature it is. She wants to be out, walking around and checking out everything. And she's very active, along with the chickens and the ducks. Very active, no brumation involved.
That's the thing about my dogs and cats is they've all amazingly been great. One of my cats is there's one place that I could have another habitat from tomorrow, maybe right in front of me. There's room, and that's where that cat's laying among those 4 other habitats, just laying there, but has no concern about any of the things moving around in her.
Oh, that's cool.
They've really been awesome. They know they're outnumbered for one thing, so. I have no idea if I get a reptile tomorrow what I would get. I really don't.
If you did, you know what you would get?
No, I don't. There are a couple, like I said, there are a couple of turtles I've had in mind, but I've kind of put that on the back burner for now. And I got, one of my bucket lists was the Brazilian rainbow boa.
What kind of turtles were you thinking?
Well, kind of like sulcata or something like that.
Oh, tortoise. Okay, that's
a tortoise. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, because I know there's smaller turtles that stay small, like the Reeves turtle, the musk turtle. They stay small and they'd be perfectly happy in a regular aquarium.
No.
That's like 3/4. Turtles are the messiest pets. I don't know. It's a tie between turtles and plecos. They're both pooping machines, that's for sure.
Yeah, I scoop enough reptile poop.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, that's why I like the bioactive enclosures.
Yeah.
I just pick out the urates, the little white hard things, and that's it.
Yeah, I haven't got that far with the Brazilian rainbow, and it pooped the other day after eating that rat. Oh my God, it's bigger than my poop.
Oh, that's hysterical.
It was. Oh.
Wow.
They must have loaded him up before he left Underground Reptiles, I'll tell you. They must have had a going away feast or something. Hey, Adele, there's always room if you recognize the fish house, Bob. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've actually got tanks sitting right now that just have water and plants in them.
Me too. I have like 4 different 40-gallon breeders. I had purposely set them up for the Keystone Flash, thinking I was going to get tons of fish. But by the time I got to the Keystone Flash, I didn't have any spending money, so I only got the shiners from Kenny at ABC, and that was all I got. So I still have, like I said, and I'm adding more and more plants now because they seem to be growing amazing without fish eating them. Throwing a couple of snails, and I actually love the tanks. There's like no extra nutrients. There's no, it's just crystal clear. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And with the plants in there, they're just really nice looking tanks.
Yeah, fish streams, the musk will be nice because it's a very light basker, so it loves the water. I have white cloud mountain minnows in with my eastern musk because he can't really catch them and they multiply faster than anything he could possibly catch. So I always have those beautiful fish swimming around with the musk, and you can see him chasing them and trying real hard. It's just a great tank to watch. So I love my eastern musk. And I don't mind the musk smell either. I think I used to have perfume like that when I'd go to a concert.
What are the what are the musk that I follow a couple channels that just walk along creeks or streams and stuff, and there's a turtle that's flat, and as soon as it sees you, it can like skitter 100 feet
Oh, wow.
underwater. But they're real flat, like a pancake or a waffle. They're native around this area. I know.
Are they the soft shell turtle or?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, soft shell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are always cool, but they're so fast.
Yeah, I had soft shells and I had to have a sandy bottom. I actually gave them to my fish store because they were too hard for me to keep track of. Because they go, like you said, they go into the sand. I can't see them. And I was so worried that I was going to kill them with a soft shell. I didn't know anything about them. So I ended up rehoming those to the fish store and just kept my hard shell turtles because I didn't know enough about them when I had them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know any about them, so I would have to research them before I got any, which could be for 15 minutes on the spot. You know, you never know sometimes. You never know. I did want some rat snakes besides the corn snakes, which aren't actually rat snakes, but there's some really, really beautiful, colorful rat snakes that are really underrated. And instead of getting one of those, the last event I was at, I got the chameleon that I ended up losing. The one with the horn on it. Yeah.
Can I give a shameless plug?
Yeah.
At Reptales right now? I just got notification that Only Oscars is going live when we're done. Just
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
I just got a notification, so I just wanted to shout that out.
If we can have a link, we'll post it.
Yeah.
So people can go right over. I don't know. See, I saw Anthony in here, so I don't know if there are any other mods or not. Pam's a mod.
Yep, I am.
And Mike's a mod, I believe.
Let me see if I can find it in my notifications.
If I've got the notification, I missed it.
Yeah, I just saw it popped up. It was like, what? And I know it's a fishing channel, but I just had to say it because she's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Says my red air sliders brumated for years. Oh, my chat went backwards. Okay. Cool.
Wow, I have to do a weekly filter cleaning on one angelfish.
I found it.
Right.
So you know what I haven't done in probably 8 months, and I dread doing this?
Canister?
No, sponge filters.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like 8 months, and if I don't disturb them, don't touch them, they're perfect, crystal clear. But even if I try, the bagged method, that it's gonna be like. But I'm going to do them all in one big barrel.
If I don't do my 125 salt and the 180 behind me fresh once a month, then I start getting the nitrates start creeping up.
Oh, really?
They start creeping up, yeah.
And are they live plants or are they
No.
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 That might be why. I don't know.
Those cichlids in there keep all the plants eaten out of there. So
I'm afraid to do my canister that I got and just installed a few months ago. I'm afraid.
I added some more filament barbs. I think 3 to that tank behind me. They're doing well. I have an addiction to those things. They're still small. Oh, there's the link. Okay, thanks, Pam. My fish tanks aquatics. Howdy, howdy. Cichlids can live with plants. Yeah. These though I've been raised to eat plants, and I've always given them lettuce and duckweed, and so anytime I put anything green in there, even spirulina flakes, they go crazy for it. So
You talking
yeah,
about what kind of cichlid, Bob?
these are South Americans behind me.
Okay.
So nothing lasts very long in there, but I've raised them all since the Severums, and those are herbivores, omnivores. I like them to get a lot of plants, so they're used to it. They're trained to eat it, basically. They like it.
A lot of my cichlids do well with the bulbitis. But
Yeah.
the Severums ate them down to just stems. Okay.
Right. That's their job. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what you hired them for, they think. So
Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
And they'll just sit at the top and swill all the duckweed I can put in. So I never throw away duckweed. I put it right in there.
And where? Oh, good. I keep mine for my turtles.
Yep.
I should try it upstairs with my Severums.
It'll be gone in a day.
Okay.
They'll poop, and then they'll poop green.
That's okay. That's okay. Oh, and that filter, my rabbit, when it was inside rabbit, which is why it's no longer inside rabbit, through the wire. So I have to actually cut the wire, like shut it back a little bit, readjust them to get that pump to work again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't even imagine what that's going to be like.
I was going to mention, because everybody knows I have rope fish, and I broke down the 75 that they and my black ghost knife fish and some other cichlids were in, and divided them out among a couple other tanks. And one of my rope fish kept jumping out of this 180, and it was right up where the tidal goes in, and it would had to jump up through the waterfalls off the two. So anyway, the third time when I put it back in, it came back to life again, but it didn't make it that time.
Oh.
So, but the black ghost knife fish is just partying down in there. It was always timid in the 75, but over here it gets after my big my giraffe,
Cool.
catfish and stuff, and it's doing great in there. It loves it.
Isn't that amazing? Just a little bit more room to swim, and they change your whole personality.
Yep.
That's how I feel about this female Jack Dempsey and the Starry Night cichlid. As soon as I put them in this 180, even with the Oscars and the Bashirs, they're out in front, swimming back and forth. They, bicker back and forth, but they don't ever attack each other. They never did that 90 gallon. It was like, that's awesome.
Needed some space.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there's Sammy. Speaking of people oversleeping.
Yep, he says, I promise I wasn't sleeping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
First thing you said.
That's funny.
Do you believe that, Star? I don't believe that.
We're glad you're here now.
So I have I only have 2 reptiles in my fish room, and 1, 2, 3 frogs, 3 amphibians in my fish room. And I kind of wish it was all in one big room, because there's so much advantage to having the fish tanks with the reptiles and having humidity built up and the warmth of all the water. I kind of wish they weren't in another room.
You see Bob? Do you see Bob?
Aww.
Do you see Bob?
Hey, Star.
Do you see Pugsley? Huh?
That's not Pugsley, damn it. That's Irma.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've only got, well, actually, I don't have any fish in here in this room, but my dining room is the reptile room. So I've got it all sorted out now. Since I broke the 75 down and put the big Brazilian
Good.
rainbow in there, it's everything in here is reptile. Well, and the frogs, so some amphibians, but that's it.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
So now, are you having any issues with your keeping your feeders alive? Like, do you feed bugs to any of your reptiles?
I'm still not having luck with my cricket farm didn't take off, so I tried again with it and it didn't take off. So I'm going to put that to the side till spring.
Okay.
But I'm just having to go buy crickets, and a couple of times, like I'll get maybe 100, and I'll split maybe half of them and disperse them among the cricket-eating critters.
Okay.
Then I'll come back in 3 or 4 days and put the rest of them in, and then next week go get some more fresh. But in the meantime, in those 3 or 4 days, a lot of them die.
So
No matter
I'm torn between getting 100 crickets and using it for 1 or 2 feedings versus getting 1,000 crickets and keeping them in a cricket keeper. Like, it's a 40-gallon breeder that's open. And as long as you keep it misted, the misting with no water settling, but having the mist in there has helped keep all my crickets alive. Because you got plenty of food. I throw in a leaf of lettuce here and there. It's that the water that they crave dissipates so fast that I can't possibly. And a couple of times where I put a little too much water in, they all drown. Like, they're just stupid.
That's the trouble I have is with the humidity. I can't get it right.
Yeah. It's hard. But I do have that 40-gallon, and the screen lid opens like in the middle, not lengthwise, but in the middle, which
Those
makes
are
it a
nice.
perfect cricket keeper for those guys, because they can't jump out of the 40, even if I left the thing open, unless, the paper towel tubes stack up too high. So I like that, because there's a lot of times I'll walk away, the lid's open, and next thing you know, I got crickets. But the 40-gallon breeder seems to be working very well. I think I'm going to move it underneath this aquarium. So it won't be in the reptile room, but it'll be out of the way in here. And that seems to be easier than when I get a bag of crickets, 100, after the first feeding, most of them die.
Yeah.
But if I get thousands of them, I can keep them alive. They're almost like pets until I get to use them all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm struggling with that one, and I'm struggling with the meal, with the super worms, whichever worms you want to call them.
Well, they definitely thrive better in the habitats with the critters than they do not in there.
Yep.
So I usually put most of them in, not half, but most the first feeding. And sometimes when I come back, I'll still find some, that have set up shop, and they know the hiding places and all that.
Right. I think I'm going to start doing it that way. Even if I get like 500, keep in mind I got over 25 enclosures, and they're all like 4 or 5 inches of dirt, so they can hide if they want to. But like my diggers, like the skinks, they dig down and they'll get whatever they need to get when they need to get it. But I think that might help them stay alive, because there's always extra food in their enclosure, because they're sloppy eaters.
I was just counting enclosures that I have stuff, reptiles or something in the reptile room and they're 19. It seems like more than that, but.
So but that's not 19 different species, right? You have a couple of the same species?
Oh yeah, I've got like 4 ball pythons and yeah.
Oh.
Some of them have more than one critter in them, like the giant gay. Well, my giant gay geckos.
I gotcha.
My day geckos. Jesus. That wasn't even that hard to say.
No, but it's funny.
It's funny as hell, though.
You got gay geckos.
I'm pretty sure they're a pair, though, male and female. I think they're heteros. So I hope they are.
Yeah. Well, my Reeves turtle, you know how I said they grow very slow and they stay very small? I thought I had Mr. and Mrs. Reeves. That's what I call them. And then I did a video, and everybody in the comments were like, "You mean Mrs. and Mrs. Reeves?" I'm like, man. I'm not getting any babies there, Mrs.
Nope.
and Mrs. Reeves.
Nope.
Yep. And I
Oh,
just
when you,
checked on my South American turtle egg, and there's no movement, so I don't think it was actually fertile. Because
well, how
it's
long?
been 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But I keep hoping, and I'm like, that's just silly. Stop. How great would that have been, though?
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of things that always are at the Repticons, like the Chinese water dragons, and very affordable too. But you need space.
Those you need big space, like tall space. They're gentle giants, so it could even be one of those. What do you call the zip up greenhouses that they sell?
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
even be one of those. They're not going to claw there. It's not like an iguana that'll slice its way through it. They're sweet.
yeah.
You can put them if you put an aquarium on the bottom, like your 20-gallon long or 20 high, and then build it around it. That's perfect for them. So they got their water, then you got the height. It's a real simple enclosure if you have the space.
Somebody had one of those. I think it was Keeper Kane that we had on. I don't remember what he had in it though.
Okay. One of the zip up.
Look,
Yeah,
there's Bob.
that was the
Bob's
only
talking.
time I've seen
Bob?
one.
I was really shocked to see that a lot of people keep Chinese water dragons in there because I've always assumed mine was so vicious. Their claws are so big, but when I moved him downstairs, I realized, wait, you're just a big gentle giant. He's nothing. He's just huge. He's huge, but yeah. But mine's in like a big wooden closet now because I was building it at the time.
I wonder if, of course, this is the South. Supposedly, Atlanta is where this Repticon will be, but I'm sure some people will come from north. I just wonder if brumation affects going to shows. I bet it does.
Yeah, right. If that affects them, right?
Yeah, I'll have to ask some of them that have things that might brumate turtles and.
That would be interesting. Ask them if you can videotape them and just while you ask them that question. That would be very, very fascinating. The breeders and what they do. Because I was told some of my reptiles aren't going to breed until they come out of brumation. So if I keep them from going into brumation, I'll never get them breeding. I'm like,
Right.
I didn't know that. So now I let them do what they do. I'm not too worried about it. Although, after once you told me your story before, I was like, now I get worried. I try to wake them up out of brumation. Are you okay? Are you okay? I gotta let them go. I gotta let them be. But it's frustrating. It's very.
Oh my God, that was like losing a puppy or something because I had him since he was little.
Mm-hmm.
He was my very first reptile. I even had him before Nathan's snake, Sandy.
Oh wow! Okay.
Very first. He wasn't that old, maybe 5 at that.
Yeah, I remember you were feeding him right out of your hands, everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Sophie just turned 9.
Wow.
My parrot just turned 9.
Yeah, I can. Somebody called today at the Ark, and the volunteer answered. And a lot of times we put it on speaker if there isn't a visitor, an adopter there, so it's easier to keep doing things, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And talk and scoop litter or whatever you got to do. And they had some kind of a parrot. It wasn't a macaw, but it was one of the big parrots. And they asked her, and she said, "No, we don't take birds." And after I hung up, I didn't hear what they said. And she said, "Some kind of," she said, "What parrot?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I would have taken that."
Yeah. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, their number was a blocked number. I was looking on the.
And you're equipped to house it there. Or you got
But their number was blocked on the phone ID. So.
Was it a cockatoo? Because that's what I would love.
No, it wasn't a cockatoo. She said it was some kind of parrot. And I thought I heard parrot or parrot or something.
Oh,
and
parrot. That's what my Mr. Peabody was. He was this big with an attitude of a macaw. Yeah.
It wasn't a macaw, but it was a big bird. I can't remember what she said now.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I would have it, I guess, now if she had not said no.
Yeah.
I hate it when people call like that and they're trying to find a home. And like today, yesterday, I took in an 11-year-old dog that has cherry eye. And that's a prolapsed tear duct, so it has a big red, like a seed in the corner of the eye. And she's diabetic, she's hypertensive, she's obese. And they're like, how are you going to find that dog a home? And I'm like, we'll find her a home, you know. She's got to have some dental surgery, but she's got to get tuned up with her blood pressure and her diabetes under control first. But just because you're 11, you know.
That's what I was looking for before I found the puppy. I was looking for an older dog who just needed somebody to care for them the last few years of their lives. And around here, I couldn't find any. Like,
Yeah, you
what, they
can't.
just put them to sleep? I don't understand. Where are they all? Like,
Well, what I don't get is this man was 80 and he went in the nursing home. He's lucid and all that. And his two daughters, one of them's a nurse actually, were trying to help him. And I'm like, you can't take his 11-year-old dog for the next 4 years or 5 years, or.
yeah.
And I thought, Jesus,
I know,
that's the way it is here. People just don't have that kind of, it's cultural here.
Yeah. That's horrible.
It is horrible.
John
We've
took
gone from,
HVAC for a lady. She's about 80 something. And she's got two cockatoos. One that's like 50 years old, and the other one is a young one, she said, but it's looked like 30 already. And I said to him, does she have plans for what's going to happen to them? Like, I don't want to sound like ghoulish, but I mean, like, if she doesn't have family, I don't know, like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
They can live to be like 80.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's tough. The bearded dragons, though, I think they're only like 15, 16 years. Our Sheila was 13 when she passed, and I thought she was too young. I don't know. What are the crested geckos? Are they like 10 years, 12 years?
I don't know. Do you know, Mike?
Crested?
Yeah.
Probably about right in that same range, 10 to 15.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know my Agama lizards are in that same range, 10 to 15.
What about the Eurymachus?
I don't know about this one, and I was going to mention too that he is sleeping. He's fine. He eats like a pig, and he still demands 2 kinds of lettuce twice a day and all that. But he sleeps a lot now. But they don't brumate.
No, none of mine are. They are very, very active. I'm going to put in a lay box because I think they're that active. So,
Well, you know, I always talk about how he's watching me and he's running back and forth, demanding his second feeding. And he's never out in the evening now. When I come home, I feed him and he goes to bed.
Yeah, as soon as the sun goes down here or their timer goes off, I don't see him at all. But as soon as that sun comes up, they're out and about. They're on their hind legs, like, I haven't eaten all day, you know, and it's like 7 a.m. Like,
Right.
Simmer down now, the big boy.
Sun's been up 13 minutes. Where's everybody at?
I love those Eurymachus, though. Oh
I do
my
too.
gosh, they're so sweet. And they
are
grumpy, and they're not grumpy at all.
They're cute as they can be.
Yeah, they're not brumating. None of my baby beardies are brumating. None of them. My oldest blue-tongued skink, Sapphire, she's not brumating, but Azure is. And Azure is only like 2.5. But she's sleeping. I mean, she comes out for water every couple weeks. She won't eat any of her pellets. She won't eat any of her cat food. She won't eat anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'll let you be. I'll wait for you.
They're characters.
They are.
I'm looking because the Brazilian, I call it a BRB, Brazilian rainbow boa, because it's hard to say Brazilian rainbow boa all the time. But anyway, he or she has gotten so much tamer, not that I would touch it with my hand yet, but it comes like will stick its head out from behind something like 6 inches, And if I ignore it, it pretty much will stay there. Like the other night, I was showing y'all I ran over, but then after I came away, it went away. But it's sticking its head out now. But it'll come out sometimes and watch me a minute, and it'll just reverse and go back. It's so cool.
So you
I
have
felt-
it held him like this? Is he that heavy? He's like
He's huge. He's heavy. I got the hook under him once to get him out from under all the aspen shavings in there. And there was nothing for him to really hold on to. I mean, of any substance, and it was really hard just to move him.
Oh wow,
It
yeah.
was like tug of war with a man, or another man, or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's why I want the hog nose. They don't get that big.
Yeah.
I've even seen some of the corn snakes. They're huge,
Yeah.
huge. Like
Yeah. They
the
are.
garter snakes, and they can be like in a community. Do they brumate?
They're colubrids, aren't they? I think they do a form of that, because I know that you see the garter snakes that go down in dens, but on warm days sometimes they'll come up. So it must be a brumation.
Oh, okay. I
They
would
get
love
in
to
my-
have somebody on here that entices brumation, like turns the temperature down to like 30 degrees in there and it keeps it dark and puts them into. I would love to. I think that process would be fascinating
Oh yeah,
to hear about.
and to be able to answer the questions we've got about it.
Yeah,
I'll look for brumation videos and see what's out there.
that would be cool.
I know that it wasn't the guy that was on last week. He has the collared lizards, but his are not brumating. But somebody else has adults that are brumating, but the babies are not brumating from them. I don't
Okay,
remember who that is. So,
that would be cool.
that is something. If I saw tomorrow, I might have to get out the OVs for the collared lizards.
I thought you were getting some from this guy, or was that just joking?
Well, he has to ship, and they're 2 adults. I don't think they're a pair. I think they're 2 separate. His price was reasonable for them, but I always, if I can, like to see what I'm getting and interact with it a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you're going there tomorrow, you said?
Yeah, in the morning we're going there to spend the day.
Let's see. I have one coming up. Here we go. On the 14th, January 14th, there's a reptile expo, and I am very excited about that. I'll be going to that one. And this
That
one,
one-
even if I'm not getting anything, I'm definitely going to be bringing my camera and taking some footage, and maybe I could share some footage on our stream of that, because
Oh yeah.
I want to do footage of all the things I want to get.
But this one in Atlanta is at the same place it was last time. Ed and I went actually
cool.
to the one in Atlanta before. You couldn't get Wi-Fi, so you just had the video. You couldn't live
That's what I'm
stream.
going to do. I'm going to just video and then bring it to the live stream. Now,
Yeah.
is Ed going with you?
Do what?
Is Ed going with you tomorrow?
No, he knows about it, but he's doing something else. It's my great nephew Cole.
Okay.
He's 22, I think. He asked me like 3 months ago if we could go to this one because he
Oh
knew
my
he
God,
was
how
on.
exciting. I'd be like, heck yeah.
He's the one that got the sulcado like a year ago when we went to one here in Chattanooga.
How big
But that
is how big this sulcata is now at a year?
It's grown about an inch, he said.
Okay.
He weighs it and all that, and he was
Because
showing
mine
to
was
it.
like this big at a year, 2 years, 3 years, nothing. Now all of a sudden he's like, ooh. Oh, in 1 year,
Yeah.
it's now like 10 inches big. Can't get underneath anything. So it's like I just open the cage and he can walk around the floor because he can't get underneath the fish tank. He's safe. Like now
Yeah.
everything is safe.
Well, I was going to look at his, I forget what its name is now, Scully. Scully, his sister named it.
Aw.
And I said, "Where's Scully?" And he said, "She's just running around in the bedroom. I'll go get her though." So it was Thanksgiving this year, and he brought her out and put her on the table, or maybe it was 4th of July.
Oh
But
my
anyway, that video got like 500 views. He was like, "Have you looked to see how many videos?" He brought her and put her on the table in the breakfast room, and she peed on the table. And I thought my niece was going to kill him.
That is great. Oh my gosh. That is great.
I'm going to turn my camera off a minute and stand up. I'm having a horrible cramp. Sorry.
That's all right.
I can still hear and talk.
8:30, is it not?
I don't know. Is it? It might be. It's
I
gone
think
by
so.
fast.
This was really good.
Yeah, I have fun. We always do, and especially on the Fish Mafia, we have great streams even when we don't have a guest. Okay. So awesome. It says we've been going 50 minutes, and we started about 5 minutes, so it's right there. The 8:30.
Oh, cool.
Anybody else have anything else to say or question or anything? See if there's any questions. Did I miss any questions? I honestly haven't been watching quite.
Oh my God, I've been so busy
There's-
jabbering, I missed the chat.
Yeah, I'm too busy kissing on Worm. That didn't sound right, did it?
No, it didn't. But
You kissed a worm? I don't even want to know. I'm not even
he
asking.
was kissing on the worm. It's even
I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know.
Kissing on my baby. She needed lots of loving because Mino
Bye,
Princess
everybody.
got in a fight with her. They were jealous. Yazi's questionable. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Look how cute.
Bob has giant gaze on his mind. I'm glad I saw that. I must have, because that's all I could say, right? We had 2 cats adopted together yesterday and 2 dogs adopted together. They were actually Worm's 2 sisters. Who's Worm, Bob? Worm is
Pugsley.
oh, who's
Pugsley.
Worm? Gotcha.
Pugsley is worm.
No, I've already got Pugsley as Pugsley's one of the reptiles. Bob Freaky Friday nights, exactly, Crown Tail. You got it. I don't see any other questions out there.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm standing up, but I'm gonna come back on here. Crap. So I'm playing with buttons. There we go. Here. You ever have a cramp that you have to stand up or get out of bed or oh my God?
Yep. Or it's going to get worse, and then you'll know there's no coming back from it.
That's right. All right, guys. Had an awesome. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully we'll get a. I'm looking for a brumation guest.
Yeah, that was
Bob,
great.
stop while you're ahead. All right, I'm done. I'm done. All right, Pam. Thank you. Star, behave yourself. Stay out from under Pam's feet. Bless her. Bless her. Mike, are things turning a corner for you, buddy?
Oh, kind of slowly.
All right, you're going the right way, though, right?
Happy I got Winston back.
Yeah, it's his kitty that passed on Christmas Eve, and the little urn is a heart. That urn. I haven't seen those. Unfortunately, we need them at the art sometimes, and I'm going to ask next time we need one if they have those. I love that. Well, I'm glad you've got him back. And guys, don't forget that Mike's still not working, and we're trying to help him a little bit as we can. So he said it's making a difference. So Susie, try to behave yourself. She laughed real big, didn't she? All right. I love you guys and had a great time, and thanks for hanging out. And mods,
Bye, guys.
for an awesome job. Good night, everybody.
Nice.
See you Sunday night.